The Moto G Stylus 2024 is a pretty good phone, and it's a great budget alternative to the S24 Ultra. So if you look at the S24 Ultra, it's like $1,299, and then this is $399. So I want to talk about this phone, full review. I bought this with my own money. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks, testing it out, and there's a lot of thoughts that I have, and not very many are negative. Now, there are a few things that I'm not too crazy about, like the software support, and it has the same chip as last year, but don't let that make you think it's the same phone, because there's been a lot of changes. Camera changes, battery charging improvements, we got a new screen in it, lots of other stuff, but yeah, we'll save that for the review. But before we get into that, I do want to say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's dive into the Moto G Stylus 2024. So, Moto G Stylus 2024. Is it any good? Well, I think so. And I think at the budget price that it's focused at, $399, I think it offers a good alternative to the S24 Ultra if you don't want to spend an extra $900. But some people just like a lesser expensive phone and they want to have this, a stylus. And I think the stylus works okay. It's got a lot of the Motorola software features, the notes, the gift maker, all that stuff. It works pretty well. I think it's an improvement over the I had the Moto G Stylus 2020, not the 2024. Well, yeah, the 2023, the non-5G version, and I wasn't very impressed with that. But I was doing a lot of research on this one, and I thought, you know what? I'll give this a try. And of course, it's got the vegan leather on the back of it. It has a 50 megapixel camera. It's different from last year. It added optical image stabilization, so you've got that. It does 1080p video at 30 frames and 60 frames per second, and 120 if you care. For the slow-mo, no 4K. And then the selfie camera has also been updated. Went from a 16 to a 32 megapixel. It actually does 4K and 30. And you've got a new ultra wide on here. So they changed the cameras out. We've got this vegan leather on the back. It's got a plastic frame. It's just under 200 grams. And I think it's got a nice weight and balance to it. And then you've got a nice flat screen, nice flat edges on here, power button, volume rocker, all that stuff. It's a very sophisticated and fancy looking phone. And I like that. Optical fingerprint scanner under the screen, up to 1200 nits brightness. Let me turn this down so you can see. Facial recognition. It's got the great Motorola gestures where if you do the chopping motion, it turns on the flashlight. If you do the wrist twist, it pulls up your camera. And the camera's okay. Like, it's really not that bad. And I like saying that because we've got so many phones now that are coming up $300, $400, $500. And back in the day, that used to mean clunky performance, crappy camera, and just a lot of numbers that they would throw out there that make you think, okay, yes, there's a few things about it that are good, but by and large, it's not very good. And that's just not the experience that I've had with this phone. And I think it takes some pretty good photos. And I took a picture of my kid's car. There we go, selfie. Well, that's the primary camera. But I think the camera works pretty good. A couple other pictures that I took, if I can get it there. Yeah, even the portrait mode I think is all right. If only I were better looking. Which I'm not, but if I were, then maybe it would work out better. My wife's hibiscus plant, that turned out pretty good. My wife's pen collection that's on the table. Some roses. So overall, I mean, I think the cameras are pretty decent. It's got HDR, optical image stabilization, phase detection, autofocus on the primary camera, and then 5,000 milliamp battery, which will last all day. You get all day battery in this. They added wireless charging, and they upped the wired charging. So last year, you had 20 watt wired charging, no wireless. Now we have 30 watt wired charging and 15 watt wireless. So you've got that, you've got an expandable SD card. They bumped up the RAM, 8 gigabytes in all models now, no 4, no 6, 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think that was big, especially when it comes to the multitasking stuff. I'm curious to see if we'll see any sort of AI implementations later on, but here's the crux. The thing that worries me the most, 1 year of operating system updates. Now it launches with Android 14, which I think is fine. It's nice, it's fluid, it's polished, it looks good, it's crisp. You got this nice 6.7-inch POLED, no longer an LCD screen. We've got an OLED screen, 120 hertz, like I said, about 1200 nits maximum brightness. It looks okay out in the sun. It's not gonna wow you like the 2000 nits and the 3000 nits and the 4000 nits, but 1200 is perfectly fine, especially at this price point. So all in all, I think you get a pretty good package. And like I said, SD card slot for expandable storage, and you got the 128 and the 256 model. I believe the 256 is unlocked. If you buy it, I think from Metro PCS or wherever you get it from, the carrier models I think start at 128. Headphone jack right there if you want to plug in your headphones. Stereo speakers. Now the stereo speakers on it are all right. They have good volume and they can get pretty loud, but they lack some depth and some bass. So if you don't care about depth and bass, then you'll probably enjoy it. If you're just watching YouTube, watching movies, things like that, I had no problems with it whatsoever. I thought the speakers were okay. And it doesn't even have very big bezels. Like, look at the screen. That OLED goes very, very far, especially for a more budget tier phone. And that's one of the nice things that we've got over the last couple of years, unless you're an iPhone user and you're still stuck with a 60 hertz screen on the normal phone for $800. But in Android world, $300-400 still means you get an OLED, still means you get 120 hertz. And that 120 hertz is really nice. Plus you've got all the Smart Connect stuff. You can go in here. You've got the mobile desktop, so you got the desktop mode. You can connect your phone with your PC, get your messages. You can pull up apps. You can use it as a webcam. So if you've got a laptop that doesn't have a webcam or it's got a crappy webcam, you want it to look better, you can use it wirelessly, connect it with your computer, use the selfie camera on here as a webcam. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got some other controls in here as well. But the biggest disappointment here, of course, is the software updates. And I talked about this. I talked about this in my first video I made because, yeah, when you're in the year 2024, you expect to have a little bit more support out of your phone. One operating system update, which has got Android 14, it's only going to get Android 15, and you're dropping a phone right before Android 15 comes out a few months away, and that's the only update you're going to get. And then bi-monthly security patches for 3 years. At least it's going to be supported for 3 years. So here's the thing. Yeah, I know some people, they care about software updates, some they don't. I really feel like they need to raise the bar in that department. I think that's the general consensus pretty much in the tech community. Motorola is kind of lagging a little bit in that department. So even if you look at some of the other phones that are slow to get updates, we need them to get faster with updates, monthly security patches, and give us a little bit more support. But at $399, it's a little bit more forgivable than, let's say, like a $1,000 flip phone, you know? So there's some give and take there. But yeah, the only two disappointments, like I said in the beginning of this video, were I had two. One is the software update support, and the other is the chip. And the chip's okay. Snapdragon 6th Generation 1, first time I've had any experience using one. And I think it's okay. It's not a bad chip. It's more than formidable. And Motorola took an approach with this phone this year to give it a better screen, better cameras, better battery, charging, you know, lots of different stuff. But it's not particularly a powerhouse, but you can do some things with it. I mean, you can do most anything with it perfectly well. You don't have to have a flagship chip to have a decent experience. And it seems smooth enough whenever you use it on a day-to-day basis. So I think overall package for $399 is good. You know, all-day battery life, decent power, pretty good cameras, especially with the price point. And the real reason you're buying this phone is the stylus. So let's dive in and take a look at the stylus. I've made you wait a long time for this, but let's look at the stylus because I know that's what people care about with this phone, right? So let's take a look at it. First things first, if you want a good phone that runs Boom Beach, this one runs Boom Beach great. Just throwing that out there. But I do like the OLED panel on here. And then we've got the stylus. You pull it out, the little menu pops up. So you can write a note. You got Moto Note. You can do a screenshot, freeform crop, GIF maker, and handwriting calculator. Then you got settings here for shortcuts. You can add different shortcuts and apps in here. So that stuff pops up as well. So that's something that's nice to do. Now, this is a stark contrast from what you get with the Galaxy S24 Ultra because you don't get like motion gestures and all that stuff. But you do get some options in here. Stylus writing, write directly into text boxes. It's okay. I don't have the best handwriting, so maybe that's why it doesn't work well for me, but it doesn't work well for me with the Apple Pencil either. So I think it's more of a me than a stylus thing. When the device is locked, you can open up Memo Note. You can turn that on or off, or Moto Note. Stylus out of the case, get a reminder, last known location, sound, vibrate when the stylus is inserted, and then stylus tips, so it can tell you some tips about the stylus. But overall, it's nice because you can interact fluidly across the entire phone, so that's nice. I like that a lot. So that's cool. And then you get the little icon there. We can write a note. Like I said, my handwriting is terrible, but there we go. Hello. I like styluses, or styli, I guess is what I should say as an educated person, I suppose. So stylus are really nice to have with phones. And I enjoy it. I like it with my Z Fold. I like it with my S24 Ultra. So having a decent option that you can use whenever it comes to a more budget phone like the Moto G Stylus 2024, it makes me happy. That's really good. And I think most people will probably enjoy this because you get this nice stylus experience. Oh, it won't let me leave that. Gestures are locked so you can draw. So you have to actually press the button to get out of there. So I wanted to demonstrate that because it was giving me a fit the other day. I'm like, why can't I get out of the screen? That's a nice feature they have where it locks it. So that way you can draw without like interrupting your drawing session or going back to the home screen. But overall, I think they did a really good job with this. I think it's a nice clean package. I think the stylus works well and it's very complementary to the overall phone experience. And I think this OLED display, even with the 120 hertz, is a big upgrade over last year. But there you have it. Just want to give you a little brief tour of the stylus suite and some of the things that you can do with it. And yeah, I think it's a sharp phone. So that's all I got in my review of the Moto G Stylus for 2024, $399. I think the price is fair and attractive. I think that it offers a good alternative for people who want to have a stylus but don't want to spend $1,200, $1,300 to get an S24 Ultra. Granted, they have them on sale, trade-ins, carrier deals, and all that stuff. But if you're in the price point in the market for one of these phones, you're probably not looking at one of those phones. So you want to have something that's a reasonable alternative, that looks sharp, that's going to take good pictures for you, that has a nice screen with a good experience, and it's got the extras in there. Like I said, added wireless charging. The vegan leather is a nice touch. It's got a headphone jack. You can add extra storage. They bumped up to 8 gigs of RAM. So Motorola, I think, did a lot more right than they did wrong with this phone. And I think if you're interested in picking one up, you'll probably have a pretty good experience with it. So that's all I got in my video. If you have any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.